Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming back to the channel for another installation mounting video. Today we're going to go through mounting of the Sidewinder quick draw swivel mount to a fish armor ice shuttle, and we're going to actually do two quick draw mounts, one on the side of the shuttle, which is a more traditional mount system, which is how it was designed, and then also if you're running a Hummingbird unit where you don't have the black box like a Garmin attached to the back panel, you can mount another quick draw female receiver to allow your transducer pole to be mounted to the back side as well. So we're going to mount it in both locations in this particular video. So the first thing you want to do is when you get your box open, take your Sidewinder out and check it over. The quick draw mounting receiver is already attached. You'll need to disengage those two parts. So you're just going to grab it and turn it clockwise about 30 degrees into the middle position, and it'll pop right out. If you go too far, it'll lock in the horizontal. You just got to get back to that middle position and then pop it out. So you'll have the receiver and the Sidewinder. Set the Sidewinder aside for now. Go through your hardware pack. First thing you should identify is you have 4 black EPDM spacers that go into the turret clamps. You have 2 sets of clamps. You've got A clamps, and you can see there's an A stamped here, and then there's numbers lasered into the pockets. Those are to accommodate different size transducer poles. The transducer pole setup can run from the large diameter fish armor Vexilar transducer poles all the way down to the 1-inch poles, which I believe are the Brew City poles. So you've got options. So there's the A's, and then you've got 2 B's as well. You can see the B marking, and again inside there the different diameter poles that will accommodate. So B's and A's should have 2 of each. 4 1024 nuts, self-locking nuts, 8 1-inch 1024 button screws, 4 small washers, and then a large mounting plate. The 4 washers on the fish armor you're not going to need, so those you can actually set to the side. We're going to be using the larger mounting plate. With the roto molding and that thin wall, I want to get a little more support in that side, so we're going to use the larger disc. Alright, now that you've identified all your parts, make sure you have 3 tools that you're going to need. An 1/8 inch Allen key, and I've got a long T-handle which works really nice, but you can use the smaller L style Allen keys, 1/8 inch, 3/8 inch wrench, and then a 7/32 drill bit to be able to punch holes through the side of the shuttle. Alright, first thing, get your clamps. And if you're going to be running the fish armor clamp or the fish armor transducer pole, which is what I'm going to set this one up for, you're going to get the A clamps. So get your 2 A clamps, and you're just going to use 2 spacers, one pressed into the 1.3 position, which is dead center, and one in the 1.3 dead center of the other A clamp. And that's all you need there. So now that'll accommodate the larger diameter pole. The other EPDM spacers and the other B clamps, put those in a safe spot. If you decide to ever change to a different transducer pole, you may need these for future. So today we're going to set them aside because we don't need them. So now take the Sidewinder and start your 1024 bolts through the 2 holes from the top side. So they're going to go through the top side of the male portion of the clamp. And we're going to mount the bottom one first. And I'm doing that because it's easier with a long T-handle that way. So get those bolts to go just through the bottom side slightly, and then you're going to come down and you're going to mate them up with the holes on the underside. And then with the long T-handle, you can go right through the top hole and go ahead and tighten those down. There's the one side. Here's the second side. And again, this whole installation shouldn't take you more than about 15 minutes. So tighten those down, snug. The nuts are already pressed in prior to shipping, and I haven't had any trouble with them falling out, but they might in transport. So you want to double check and make sure those are there. If they're not there, they're in the box for sure. So, all right, so we got the bottom one. Now we're going to do the top one the same way. Start those screws. Get them just poking through. Once they're poking through, then you can go ahead and line them up in the holes. And then go ahead and secure them to the Sidewinder. Nice and snug. Don't over crank on them. You're just getting that bolt to set itself into the nylock locking feature of the nut and drawing it up to the bottom side. So those are done. So you're all set up, ready for the pole. So we're going to set that off to the side because we don't need this right now. We're going to concentrate now on the mounting of the quick draw receiver. Alright, so the first mount we're going to do is actually on the side of the unit. Now, I've taken the battery out, and I'm actually going to lay the transducer pole off to the side here as well. So take the back plate off, take your battery out so that it's completely out of the way, and so you can get your hands in there. Alright, so now, unfortunately, what I think is the best location, and you have options along this whole panel here. I like to mount it essentially right over top of the fish armor decal that's on the side. But you can move it wherever you want. So I've already got the holes here, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. But what you're going to do is you're going to get the first hole in there, and then you're going to secure a nut and bolt just to hold it in place. So get your first spot, punch your hole straight through, come back around, and we're just doing this on a temporary basis. You're going to take your mounting plate now and identify left, right, top, center. So the square dog is going to face towards the back of your shuttle in this orientation. The rounded off pinhole in the 12 o'clock position and the other one in the 9 o'clock position. 9 o'clock faces forward, 12 o'clock faces up. So you've put that top hole in, go ahead and put your bolt through. And go ahead and put that bolt all the way through. And we're just going to snug the nut on the back side, and we're just going to do that to act as a second set of hands when we drill the other holes. So trust me, I'm putting the nut on there. Put my wrench in. Hold it in place. Unfortunately, you're going to have to take this nut back off after you get the other holes in to get the aluminum mounting plate on the back side. But it works easier to do one hole at a time here so that everything lines up on the back, because it's important that that mounting bracket is mounted in the right orientation or the transducer pole will not be vertical, which will create a little bit of a challenge for you. So snug that nut and bolt up. Again, there's no washer or anything on there. We did that just to hold it in place. Okay, so now what you're going to do is it's important to make sure that this plane, the bottom plane of the receiver, is parallel to the bottom edge of the ice shuttle. So what I like to do, you can take a couple of spacers, just put under there, and just make sure that it's all equidistant there. It's important that this is horizontal to the setting surface of the shuttle, or the bottom of the shuttle. So once you've got that where you want it and you're lined up, and again, this is parallel to the bottom edge, go ahead and put that second hole in right at the bottom side. So put that through, and now what you can do is take the other nut and bolt back out, because we can drill the other ones through at the same time. So I'm just going to take this temporary holding spot out, and okay, so leave that bolt in. We're going to put the other bolt in all the way. And with that 7/32 drill bit, the holes will be a little oversized, so they should just slide right in, as long as they stay nice and straight. Okay, so those two are in. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my backer plate over top of those two bolts. See in the back side, get one started. Get the other started. You might have to turn the bolt a little bit. There it goes. Okay, now that you've got those in, you can go ahead and put those two nuts back on those bolts, and you're going to draw that thing down nice and snug before you drill those last two holes. And they'll go right through the right spots for the aluminum plate. No washers needed on here. You got self-locking nuts, and you got a big aluminum plate that's just a giant washer. I'm not left-handed, so this is complicated. Okay, so that one's tight. Double check that bottom one more time. Okay, so now that those are nice and snug, you've got two bolts in there. At a minimum, you should add a third one. I actually will add a fourth one. So go ahead and drill that through. Drill the next one through. Slide those other 10/24s through, and we're going to put the nuts on there. And the installation will be complete for the side. Alright, so now you're fully mounted. Again, that square tab is facing to the back, and the rounded in the 12 o'clock and the other rounded in the 9 o'clock position. Inserts at about a 30-degree angle. And turns forward, it's in the vertical position, rotated in the horizontal position. Now what I want to tell you is when you're transporting your transducer pole or loading your transducer pole, I find it easiest to put it in the horizontal position. You go ahead and drop in your transducer pole, snap and lock those in, and you're ready to go. Now when you want to fish, rotate it into the forward position or the up and down position, and then when you're ready to transport, you're going to rotate it in the horizontal position. Now when in the horizontal position, use the locking pin. There are spring detents inside there to hold it temporarily, but if you hit a big bump, it's going to want to rotate on you. So slide your little pin in there, and now it's locked in position. It is not going to rotate at all. When you get to your spot, pull your pin out part way, rotate it, and you have a pin to put it into that vertical position if you'd like. I typically actually do not use that, but it's there if you want to lock it in that vertical position or fishing position. All right, take it back out. Now I want to go through how to do the installation on the back plate. I'm not going to walk through the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of get it started for you. It's pretty straightforward. The same thing. You're going to take your mounting plate. And before I do that, so why would you do that? Why would you have a mount on the side and one around the back side? If you have a hummingbird and you can get to that back wall, because you don't have the black box or the computer, it does make it very nice to have the option to put the transducer on the back side if you're inside your fish house in a hub or in a flip over, because then you can put the pole, your transducer pole, on the back side of your shuttle, drill a hole in the farthest position away from your seats all the way against the back wall, set the transducer pole down inside there. The shuttle's right on the front in the middle where everybody can see the action. So everything just stays contained. Or if you're moving around and you're hole hopping for bigger fish and you're not going to be fishing out of the same hole as your transducer, you can keep the transducer or the Sidewinder mounted to the back side as well in that second hole. So it just gives you another option. Alright, to mount this, pretty straightforward. What you're going to do, you're going to take your aluminum plate here and identify, make sure you know which is the front and the back. So when this goes in, these little ears are protruding out. This is the back side. Take that back, that's wrong. Those little ears go on the inside, so they hang on the inside lip. Okay, so this is the outside of the plate. So what I found works pretty good is you're mounting the receiver kind of a center point about 2.5 inches up. So that's the center point of the back plate. Or the other way to think about it is the first hole is in about 1 3/4 inches up from the bottom. So you can see that's about where that one is at, is 1 3/4 inches is that first hole. Okay. So since I've already got a mount there, I'm going to take another one. And so again, the way this needs to go is it needs to mount like this, so that that square ear is facing to the right or the 3 o'clock position. The roundeds are at noon and 9 o'clock. Okay. So again, identify where you want it. And in this particular case, like I said, it's almost dead center, left to right and vertically from this edge to this edge. Okay. So this is aluminum. You're going to use your same drill bit, 7/32 drill. And I've already got these drilled, so I'm not going to go through the whole process, but what you'll do is use a little bit of 3-in-1 oil. Just put a little dab on your drill bit. It's soft aluminum, so slow speed on the drill. Don't give her the crank or you'll have a problem. It won't want to cut. Just go nice and slow, and it'll eventually start grabbing the aluminum and it'll just give you a big burr coming out. So do that on a scrap piece of wood. Get that first hole in, either the top one or the bottom one, whichever one you prefer. And again, once you get that hole in, then what you're going to do is put that bolt and nut through there and tighten it down, and then make sure that all of your orientation is square. So again, it needs to be square to this bottom edge, square to the top edge, or square from out here, so that it's truly in a vertical position once you get it in. So put that first nut and bolt in, tighten it down, get yourself lined up, put the second hole through, and then the second one, don't try to drill through the mount and the aluminum at the same time. Take a little magic marker or pencil and pop just a little dot right in the middle of that hole, and then swivel this out of the way and drill your second hole. Okay? And then once that second one is in, put that second nut in there. Again, tighten it down. You'll have that backer plate on the back side. Okay? Tighten it down, and once you have both those bolts tightened down good, then you can go ahead and drill those last two holes in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position and add bolt number 3 and bolt number 4. Okay? And then once that's done, you just put your battery back together, back in the box, and go ahead and set your plate back in just like you did when you took your battery out. And then you've got options to fish off the back side or off the right hand side of your fish armor shuttle. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, shoot me a message and I'll get back to you.